you know, this is a little bit like the ball game yesterday, the second ball game yesterday. From the standpoint, we made a couple of mistakes that really hurt us. We have a double play in the 4-hole that wet ball, and Pirtle probably should take the out there, and you know, there's a way we don't get the out there, and that ended up being a tough inning for us. And then we get into a bunt play with Detz where he slips on the wet surface, and we don't get an out there. But outside of that, I thought we played pretty solid defense, and I thought Butch did a great job of managing the game with our pitching staff, and also, you know, the two guys who caught for us. And you know, I thought that you know, there's no question that Chad came in and really pitched well off of his slider. I thought they struggled with the slider, and I thought he did a great job there. And then, you know, Jonathan Holder, like an artist at work. You know, it's just fun to watch that. The club has so much confidence late in a ball game, even in an extra inning game, when Jonathan Holder's on the mound for you, because you feel like he's just going to keep the other team from scoring. And you know, he strikes out 6 in 3 innings and walks 1, and that one walk was, you know, that was a pretty good. I thought he made a pretty good pitch right there too. So I thought Jacob was really good early, and then you know, ran into some difficulty, but you know, Ross elevated the one pitch that got him into a little bit of trouble. But I think, again, Chad and Jonathan just were the heroes for us. They really held the thing at bay, and we finally put it on across the board there in the 11th.
You say this weekend was a product of the week of practice. All the guys said coming back from Vandy, you wouldn't know that they had gotten swept the way they approached things.
Yeah, you know, we have a group that's really mature, and they have a fun time being around each other. They enjoy practice, and you know, practices are very competitive, and you know, we play different challenge type games, and they get into it. But you know, none of that works unless it's the right kid. You know, you can do anything you want in practice, but if they're not the right kids, you know, with the right mental outlook and the right competitiveness, none of that means anything. So the real credit is we have it goes to the kids and their parents, because they're great kids. They know how to work at it. They love to compete. They want to win. And inevitably, when you talk about games like this, and you look through our league, extra inning games, one-run games, you know, it's that character, it's that work ethic, and it's that belief in yourself that gets you through those games. And I think, you know, this is what we expect of our kids, especially the older ones who have been through this before.
John, I don't know. I think it's pretty sure that you guys hadn't had a walk-off win this year before this weekend. Just talk about your kids' resiliency, and clearly you haven't forgotten how to do that.
Yeah, you know, and Alabama's a good club. You know, I mean, they come in here not with great offensive numbers, but you'd never know that the way they swung it against us. And I thought we did some things to help them, but they're a good club. They have that nice mixture. They have some guys in the middle who can hurt you by hitting another ballpark, and they got guys in the front end and the back end who can run. And, man, they can defend it. I mean, look at how many double plays they've turned during the course of the year. And their left-hander at the end there just kept competing and battling for his club. And, you know, I think they're a very good club. I think Alabama is a club that can do some things in the postseason for sure.
What Brett Pirtle did yesterday, he gets the big hit. Today he stands in there and gets hit 3 times, including the time to put the winning run in scoring position.
Yeah, I mean, again, we talked about character and work ethic. He's just a really tough kid. And he's a winner. I mean, there's just no other way to. He comes from a baseball background. His dad's a coach. He's just a winner. I mean, you can't teach kids to have the type of competitive spirit that kid has. And you know, his teammates love him because they see what he does for our team every single day. And I can tell you, he gives it just as much in practice on a daily basis as he does in a ball game. So, yeah, really proud of him, especially coming out of yesterday where I think he was really sick, and I think he felt a lot better today.
CT, just see the maturity of him to have 4 hits, and he seemed to know what was coming, what pitch to look for there.
Yeah, you know, I was on deck with him in his last at-bat, and I said, hey, we might get into a possible squeeze scenario with a run on third, less than 2. We might need you to stay beneath the ball and lift it and, you know, score a run that way, you know, because we get in that situation, they're going to be infield in. And he said, Coach, I'm on this guy. I'm going to hit the ball hard. He said, I'm seeing this really well. And, you know, you want older kids to tell you that. You know, you give them some leeway and say, Tell me how you're seeing it, and how do you want to approach this if we're in the runner in scoring position. And he just said, I'm going to hit this ball hard. And that's kind of confidence he deserves to have, because he's worked really hard at it. And he's had a couple of lulls, but, you know, now he's a very confident hitter, and we need him this time of year to do the things he did for us today.
A credit to Hunter to get such an exceptional athlete, because he had to hold up on that ball to clear and still makes home ahead of the throw.
Yeah, he did a great job of base running there, because that ball's hit right at the second baseman. He takes one step back, holds his ground, which is what we teach, and then it gets through. We can't get doubled up there, because if we get doubled up, now we don't have one more chance of driving that run. The other thing is, if you look at the alignment on the infield, you know, if it gets by that guy, you're still going to have a chance to score. So I really, yeah, Hunter did a great job of base running. In fact, that's in my game notes. I'm glad you brought that up. It's good.
You talked a little bit about Chad. When he came in, he seemed to really silence their bats, and you guys kind of took off from how important was he to, you know, get the momentum back on your side?
Well, the issue with Chad is he's been left on left, and there's such a right-hand dominant club, and we needed to see him roll through some right-handed hitters, and he did a good job with that. His slider is really good against right-handed hitters, but you know, Butch has a really good saying, and I love it. He says, hey, the hitter's going to tell you everything you need to know about your breaking ball, and his slider was a really good pitch, and I thought that allowed us to get through some innings. Just didn't want to go to Holder unless we had to, because he threw a couple of pitches yesterday, and but you know, that guy always wants baseball. So, but yeah, I thought Chad showed a lot of confidence, a lot of moxie, a lot of maturity, and again, you expect that from a senior.
You mentioned the resiliency. It seems to say a lot about the mental toughness of the team. You look at all three, you know, fought off the comeback game one yesterday, 2 come from behind, extra inning wins. Seem like they're in a good spot.
Yeah, I like the toughness of our kids mentally. They're just really mentally tough kids. They work at it every single day. In the weight room and conditioning, I mean, they get after it, and it's fun to be a part of that. Again, as a coaching staff, you'd love to claim some of that, but any coach who's honest with you is going to say, when an 18 or 19-year-old or 20-year-old shows up in your program, it's set in stone. That's why you got to find the right guys, and these are the right kids. I really believe, and I've been saying this for a long time, I think they can get on a roll, and I think they can do some things in the postseason, but we're not there yet, and we still have a lot going on in the regular season, and we're going to play 2 unbelievably talented clubs here on the weekends and a really good midweek team, but Ole Miss at home is a really, really good club, and South Carolina, all they've done is win 2 national championships in the last 4 years, or 3 years. So we've got a work cut out for us. But the benefit of playing really good teams is if you can get wins, you get RPI out of it, and that's something that I think can help us when we get to postseason. But again, we're not there yet.
Emotionally speaking, getting these 3 wins in about a 24-hour period, what can that do for the team?
It can get them really tired. So, you know, tomorrow our usual deal is to get really good strength conditioning tomorrow. But because we doubled up on Saturday, we're going to have to talk about that a little bit. But, yeah, I mean, it's a springboard. Anytime you get on a roll and you can be, you know, there just aren't a lot of sweeps in the Southeastern Conference, but we certainly know what it feels like to be on the other end of that at Vanderbilt last weekend. So, yeah, we'll have a great week of preparation, and we'll get ready for a really good Ole Miss club.